All right, what's up, guys? Episode 16. We're going to go through the 7 tenets of being a superior man. What I believe are kind of, if you're not religious, I do think you need, if you don't have religion, and I'm not particularly religious, I do believe in God, higher power, universe, all that, but you need some, like, tenets or rules or kind of pillars of life to live by. Morals, values that you live by and you don't break no matter what, because this is what keeps all of us men in check. Yeah, of course women too, but I'm a man, so I'm speaking particularly to being a superior man. And these are all things that I've put into practice that I believe have changed my life dramatically for the better. If you guys need to buy kettlebells, the best quality kettlebells out there, or if you need a kettlebell program or want to work with me directly, hit the link in the description. But anyways, the first tenet is obviously movement. Also, with the workout that you guys see here, I'll post in the description below so you know what I'm doing. And if you see me talking to other things, I'm also doing a TikTok live at the same time, so follow me on TikTok. Same name here as here on YouTube, Trevor's Instinct. But anyways, what is the first tenet? The first tenet of 7 is movement. And obviously, right? So move every single day, and specifically movement for 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes a day. What about rest days? Don't worry about rest days. You don't need rest days. Your ancestors didn't take rest days or you wouldn't be here. But doesn't mean every day you redline it. I'm not slanging 2 heavy kettlebells like I am here every single day, of course. I do that probably 3 to 4 times a week. Three days a week, really, I redline it. I work out hard, high intensity. But the other days of the week, I always do something. I always have some sort of exercise, some sort of movement, because movement is medicine. Movement is the most potent medicine. It is the healer of depression. It is the healer of so many things. They call it exercise for a reason. You're exercising all of the bad junk out of your body. Your body needs this. You need to move every single day. It'll make you healthier. The biggest part of your brain is your cerebellum, and it is all dedicated to your movement. So if you move better, your brain will be better. And this has been proven. You guys probably heard this already. People think for some reason exercise makes you dumb, or that was kind of a common misconception that, meatheads are idiots. But no, the more you exercise, the more brain power you have, right? And you need to move too to keep your joints supple and loose. You need to always maintain that mobility that you had as a child, right? When you were able to comfortably sit with your legs crossed, sitting on the floor, sitting in this full squat position. These are things a lot of people nowadays don't even have access to. They can't even do it if they tried. If you don't use it, you lose it. So make sure you use it. So that's tenet number 1. And here's what I'm going to plan to do, maybe. I'm going to make every successive podcast after this one kind of diving deep into each tenet, a little bit deeper. What exactly I do for movement. And please drop comments, drop questions, even unrelated topics that you want me to talk about. Happy to do so. So that was tenet number 1 is movement. Tenet number 2 is meditation. Now you can also have a movement meditation. That's another thing. But specifically speaking, sitting down in silence by yourself with your eyes closed with no other stimulation, and doing that daily. And this, obviously, everybody's raving about meditation. I've talked about it a lot on this podcast. There's plenty of studies on it now. It's a very, very powerful, underrated thing, but most people cannot do it. Most people cannot do it consistently. But here's what I offer. Just meditate 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes, guys. That's all you need to do. And you can start to build on that. But I guarantee you, if you do 5 minutes a day, you'll see really good results in just a couple weeks. And why I say 5 minutes, because it's a pretty low barrier to entry. You don't want to set too high of a barrier of entry or too high of an expectation for yourself, because trust me, doing any longer than 5 minutes consistently is very, very hard. Very hard, unless you're committing to being like a monk sort of person. It's very doable, but trust me, it's hard. It's, as a normal person in today's day and age, it's hard. So remember what Bruce Lee said. He admires the man that practices 1 kick every single day versus 1,000 kicks in a few days or something like that, right? The whole point is do a little bit, but do it consistency. Consistency is everything, especially with meditation. It's a very long-term practice. You'll see results early, but to see the full scope of the results, to really notice changes in your focus, in your whole life, your perception, your relationship with yourself, that takes months. But it really only takes 5 minutes. And I recommend doing this first thing in the morning. Clear the inbox, I like to call it. Because sometimes at night it can be hard because you just end up wanting to fall asleep. And I think it's a great tone to set for your day. So what I like to do is wake up, sit up on the bed, stack the pillows, start meditate. You'll notice actually when you start to meditate, you'll probably want to take a dump. Go take a dump, come back, sit down, 5 minutes. Clear the inbox. Let your thoughts rush. Don't focus on anything. Don't try to do anything when you meditate. Just sit there, breathe with your eyes closed, and let everything come up. Don't try anything. Don't put any effort into it. Just be. And as time goes on, your inbox that has maybe thousands of unread messages, if you will start to decrease and decrease and decrease till finally you get to that magical 0 inbox one day. And you realize you're able to hit this kind of meditative state. And you're able to watch. You're able to watch the thinker. And then you realize there's aspects to yourself. Who is really you? Are you the one thinking the thoughts? Or are you the one watching and listening to the thoughts? Anyways, so that's tenet number 2. And let me just say, meditation has so many benefits to your focus. Number 1 is focus, especially in today's day and age. Everyone's attention span is like this big. It increases your attention span. It makes you less reactive. It gives you space to make decisions. It decreases impulsivity. It decreases stress. It really puts into perspective, again, what life is all about. Who really are you? What do you really think about? What really drives you? Now, the third tenet is diet. And for diet, you need to have your diet on point to be a superior man. You cannot be eating the same junk and garbage that most people are eating, or you're going to be like most people. And most people are not superior men. 97% of them are not. You don't want to be the 97%. You want to be the top 3%. These people do not eat garbage. And most of the food, especially if you live in America, is riddled with garbage. You need to get rid of it. You need to follow a strict diet, and you need to not even look at it as a diet. You need to look at it as you refusing to eat the same bullshit that most of society is eating. So that's a huge thing, guys. Diet is a huge aspect of it. So what is the right diet? Obviously, I've talked about this on the podcast before, but in case you're new, I would advocate for a whole food, organic, natural diet. Most people would call this a paleo diet. I don't. I don't look at it actually as a diet. I just look at it as I'm eating real food. I'm not eating BS. So that's meat, that's eggs, that's dairy, that's plants, vegetables, that's fruit, that's honey, nuts, anything that comes from nature and that is not processed or refined. Maybe you have sensitivity to dairy. When I say this, I always get feedback like, oh, well, you can't find yogurt in nature. Shut up. You know exactly what I mean. Get rid of the grains, the bread, the pastas, the rice, the things that are actually heavily refined and that need a lot of human intervention to make. Things that are natural, that you can almost just find in nature, that's what you want to go for. So again, meat, eggs, vegetables, fruit, dairy, nuts, honey. I might have missed something, but you know what I mean. Natural, whole foods where the food itself is the ingredient. What you eat should not have a list of ingredients. It should just be the ingredient, if that makes sense. The fourth tenet, which is kind of piggybacking on this one, is fasting. All superior men fast. All of them. In history. And you need to be one of them. Again, you don't want to be the 97%. You want to be the top 3%. So you must practice fasting. Strength is built through restraint. Remember that. Strength is built through restraint. Food, hunger, eating is one of the number one kind of compulsions of being a human. It's what you desire the most. If you're able to restrain yourself from that, you build power. You build control over yourself. Mind over body. Your body is your pet. It's you tell it what to do. You do not take orders from it. You do not fall victim to it. You make it your pet and you control it, mind over body. Fasting is a great way to do this. Of course, there's so many other benefits to fasting. Fat loss, metabolic flexibility, so many. And it just makes evolutionary sense. When would our primal ancestors wake up and just reach for food and just chill and watch the scenery in nature? No. They would have to get up and go look for that food. There's no way to even store it. So you get the idea. So fasting, strength is built through restraint. Again, there's so many benefits to fasting, but I think this is the number one thing. Is fasting, when you start to practice that, you can gain control over yourself and your urges like that. This starts to have implications in everything like addiction. This is the root of addiction and the next tenet as well. If you can control that and the next thing that I'm going to talk about, you will be highly resistant to addictive behavior, which captures so much of us, so many of us rather. And just because you might not drink alcohol addictively or do drugs, that doesn't mean you don't have an addiction problem. Look at other things. Look at how heavily you rely on other people and their company. That's an addiction. Look at how much you eat junk food. That is a huge addiction. Look at how much you watch Netflix or TV or any sort of stimulation outside of yourself that you are almost doing compulsively. It's all addiction. It's all addictive behavior that can be eradicated by practicing these things. So, and the next tenet is semen retention. Seed retention, let's call it that. Retaining your seed as a man is of utmost importance. Utmost importance. And we'll come up with all these excuses like, oh, but doctors say it's good for your prostate to ejaculate, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Like, you know what you need to do as a man. You need to hold and retain your seed because, again, strength is built through restraint. And this is the hardest thing for a man to restrain himself from. Especially nowadays, where everywhere you look, there's half-naked girls, there's pornography, there's all of these temptations pulling you in the direction of spilling your seed. And if you really think about it, guys, if you look at it, next time it comes out, if you look at it, not to be weird, what does it look like? Kind of looks like an egg yolk, almost. Let's think about that for a second. Kind of looks like an egg yolk, same consistency. Not to be weird, but hey, we're being open and honest. We're men here, right? That is life liquid. It's meant to make a life. It has the vitamins, the nutrients, and the essence to make a human life. And think of how often you might be releasing that from your own body. Now, you would have to be outrageous to think that does not have some sort of implications on your internal system. Your body has to replenish that. In order to replenish that, it's got to take away from other things. If it doesn't have to replenish that, imagine. And a lot of people say a lot of things on this, that it gets reabsorbed in the body, it makes you stronger, it makes your hair better, it makes everything better. I don't know if that's true, but I know for a fact, logically, there must be some truth to that, right? At least you're not expelling and having to reproduce this life liquid that clearly has to take nutrients from other places in your body. That's logic. Is it, if you retain, are you reabsorbing that and becoming some sort of godlike human? Perhaps. I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know. And again, that's kind of more of the physical side, but spiritually, strength is built through restraint. You know, a lot of men ruin their lives because of women. And it's not the woman's fault. Women will always come through and they'll always test you. They'll always push your limits. They'll always whatever. But as a man, if you're not in control of your sexual urges, you will fall victim. You'll eventually meet a woman who knocks your socks off and takes you off of your center, off of your mission, off of your focus, and then she might leave and you're heartbroken, blah, blah, blah. Or you might do certain things for that woman to get sex because you're so needy for sex, for that feeling, that pleasure, that sexual urge. If you're powerful, you have control over this. If you have control over this and you're powerful, that is really what a woman wants ultimately. So that's a whole other thing to talk about. And again, we'll go deeper into this stuff, guys. Just let me know what you want to hear. But I've been practicing this for a long, long time. And just because I've been practicing it for a long, long time doesn't mean I haven't released in a long, long time. No, no, no. I still release. It's just very kind of sporadic, if you will. We go on these long streaks because I do think obviously you need to release. You know, if you're having sex, you need to do that. There's practices and books on tantric sex and how men can have multiple orgasms without even spilling the seed, ejaculating. That's a whole other thing, and I have not mastered that yet. That is quite difficult. But I think I think it's valid. I mean, it's been around for thousands of years. It's part of yoga, tantra, sexual practice. Again, it goes deep, but it all begins with retaining your seed and at least not spilling it often. I would say a good way to start is go 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, maybe make it a ritual. I know this is getting weird, but hey, just be honest. Every 2 weeks, make it a ritual to release. If you have a girlfriend or if you hook up with girls and whatnot, stop that. Because you realize that does take a lot of energy away from you. You're spilling, again, your life force. You don't want to waste your life force like that. One day you're going to hope, maybe have a wife, maybe want to have a family and kids. You want them to get your life force, not these random, you know what. But yeah, I think, for me, if I am having an escapade of sorts, I schedule that out. As interesting as that might sound, I refrain and only do it a couple times a month. And that actually makes them want you more. It's a whole other thing. But again, control over the urges, strength is built through restraint. Now, what is the next tenet? The sixth tenet is reading. And specifically, I think reading 30 minutes a day at least. And maybe even more on the days, definitely more on the days that you have the time and the wherewithal and the attention and the energy. Read more. But reading 30 minutes a day, guys, has changed my life. It will change yours too. You know why? Because nobody reads anymore. Nobody. 97% of men don't read. 3% do. You want to be in that top 3%. Reading is a lost art, and it's increasingly becoming lost. It's increasingly becoming replaced by podcasts, audiobooks, things like that, which are fine. But nothing is as good as the real thing, as reading, as sitting down in silence with your phone halfway across the house from you, no distractions, and reading, and absorbing, and focusing. Again, this works on your attention, it works on your comprehension, it works on your articulation, your ability to speak your mind and articulate your thoughts and form thoughts, better thoughts. Read what you're interested in too. It might even be stupid. You might think it's stupid, but just the act of reading will make you a better person. It'll make you a much more interesting person. And more importantly, it'll set you apart from the rest. Those who do not read will not be able to compete with those who do. And like I said, in today's day and age, that is becoming a very scarce thing. So as long as scarcity is value, as long as you stay in that scarce population of those who still read, who don't immediately jump to the Netflix. If you have a routine, for example, like me, I work all day until about 3, 4, 5 p.m., around that time. And then I have the urge to just chill and relax and wind down. But before I do that, I always force myself to read for 30 minutes. I just put the timer on the phone, put it down, pick up the book, and just start reading. As soon as you start, it's easy to keep going. So just start. And the final one, guys, and this is why I do all this. This is why I post. This is why I create this content. This is why I maybe talk about sort of uncomfortable things that I'll get even more personal about as time goes on, is service. Serving others, helping other people in some sort of way, serving the world with your purpose. That will give you the most fulfillment as a man, and that's why we're here. That's literally why we're here as men. Aside from reproducing, we are here to serve the world, to make the world a better place, to help other people. And the way that you can look at that, especially today in this day and age with the gig economy, social media, your ability to literally become a solo entrepreneur overnight if you want. Not overnight. It takes time, of course, but you know what I mean. Like you can start today. You can start posting content and show up every day for 2 years and watch what happens. It's 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 hard not to win if you do that. You will win, but you have to do it out of service, out of genuine service. You know what I see a lot? And I see some of my friends doing this. I wouldn't even really call some of these people friends, more so acquaintances. I don't know them that well, but they almost start to mimic my content. And it's cool because mimicry is the best flattery, and it's okay. But at the same time, I can tell instead of actually pursuing their craft and trying to become a master, a black belt in whatever it is they're doing, maybe it's fitness, maybe it's whatever, and then truly trying to help other people with that mastery, because it's not until you become at least somewhat of an expert that you can actually teach and lead other people. They just want to jump to the 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 leading other people part because obviously they want attention and money. So people want to skip to that part where they get paid for something. But it's like, hey, what have you really offered yet? What have you really mastered on your own first? Have you tested all this out? Have you tried this? Or do you just want to be an influencer overnight? Because it doesn't work that way. To become an influencer or any sort of entrepreneur, you have to be a master of your craft. And you have to selflessly want to help people. And that selfless activity will accrue wealth in the long run. Not that I'm super wealthy. I'm not. But I'm on my way there. And I've realized the more that I seek giving value to other people, the more comes back to me. And that's how life works, guys. If you truly want to be a master in something, you want to seek skill. Skill is of high value and high demand. If you become extremely skillful in anything nowadays, you can start to teach other people how to do that. Because once you show up enough, you'll be a black belt. Once you're a black belt, you can teach white belts. So that's what your life should be around, service. And let's say you don't want to be an entrepreneur. Let's say you're working a 9-to-5 job. You have to view that as service and go the extra mile sometimes. Help your coworkers. Because I still work a 9-to-5 job, and I noticed that sometimes when you ask somebody to do something and it's maybe not their job function per se or something, they'll kind of be like, oh yeah, that's for this person to do, not me. I'm responsible for this, sorry. Like, basically what I'm saying is people just want to do what they're getting paid to do, and that's it. You're not really serving the world that way, right? Once you start to selflessly serve, like let's say you're getting paid to sell, to close deals, but as the salesperson, you start to get more involved in like managing the actual project, making sure everybody has what they need, checking in on people, offering your service for doing things outside of your job function to help the company, to help other people, and looking at your role in the company as a part of a bigger mission. You are the ant in the ant kingdom, and every ant matters. They all matter. Every piece of the puzzle matters. So if you look at it like that, like I'm truly selflessly trying to serve this company and make it the best, what do you think is going to happen? Over time, you'll probably rise the ranks. You'll gain a really great reputation. You'll get great references. Like, all of this type of stuff will start to compound in your life. You'll just be a great person, Go the extra mile. A lot of this stuff, guys, comes, and it's not like I took it from this book. This just literally came to my mind, but I've read these books. Think and Grow Rich, The Way of the Superior Man. All of it talks about all of this stuff. Going the extra mile is a huge thing that Napoleon Hill talks about. And it's true. Even for me with my clients, I'll check in on them when I don't need to. I'll send them feedback, like multiple feedback videos. I'll give them more than what the cost of the program is. I don't think like, oh, they're just paying me this much. Why am I doing all this for him? No, I've eradicated that thought from my life. I'm fully serving them as soon as they're a customer of mine. Fully. Going above and beyond. Whatever they need, I'm there. How manageable is that? Who knows? But again, it's selflessly giving. Once you start to get in the habit of doing this and you eradicate the negativity and the selfishness from your mindset, this is what helps. And let me be clear too, there's nothing wrong with being selfish in the sense of selfishly pursuing your purpose. If you're selfishly trying to be the best kettlebell coach and, off the air, if you will, truly perfecting the craft, truly showing up to every workout like you're in a laboratory and you're crafting something new, you're testing things out for weeks to see how it affects your body. You're testing a whole workout all the way through to see how it feels, see how challenging it is, see if it's good to prescribe to other people. This is what it takes. It's all service. It's all in the name of serving other people. And that's what I've realized with me. I do work a 9 to 5 job, but now I'm segueing into full-time online fitness coaching and whatnot because that is my purpose. And I'm doing the world a disservice if I do not show up and give it my purpose. And that's what you need to do too. If you have some sort of calling and you have the skill, you can help people, you're at that point already, then what the hell are you doing? You need to do that. Even if it's risky, the universe will help you. I promise. And if you don't, maybe you want that. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be on social media. You want to help people. But you don't have the skills. You're not a master in anything. Well, then get to work. Get to work. Keep working your job. Dedicate time every day to a craft. Show up for 2 years straight, and you'll be on your way. Once you're at that 2-year mark, showing up every day on your craft and on social media, if that's what you want, you'll build a following, you'll start winning. And then once you hit that 10-year mark, guys, that's where it's really at. 10 years. You know how long it takes to get your black belt in jiu-jitsu on average? 10 years. 10 years. And I think that that's the case with any admirable skill. It doesn't mean that you can't be phenomenally good at it in just 2 to 3 years. You will. You'll be damn near an expert in just 3 years. Just like in jiu-jitsu, like 3 years of constant training, you're a purple belt. You're a savage. You'll destroy anybody who hasn't trained, no matter how big they are, whatever. But that 10-year mark, 10,000 hours, if you will, like Malcolm Gladwell says, but it's true. You got to show up for a long, long time to really get the deepest level of understanding of something. And I'm still on that mission myself, and I show up every day with that mentality, white belt mentality, going all the way to black belt. But I think that's it for today, guys. I think I covered a lot. The 7 tenets of being a superior man. Again, movement, meditation, diet, fasting, semen retention, reading, and service. That's pretty much it. I think I'm going to elaborate on each one successively. Please comment below and give me some affirmation on that. Or if there's something else that you want me to talk about, if there's one in particular that you're really curious about, please comment. I need your guys' feedback. I need you. It helps me. That's it though. Peace out. Much love. Have a great day. Be a superior man. Be the 3%. Don't be like everybody else. Don't do what everybody else is doing, ever. Question everything. Seek truth constantly. Peace.